Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about the possibility of a Nate Diaz, Michael Chandler, perhaps at 170. But before you get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel. Your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. A recent article claims that Michael Chandler would be interested in that Nate Diaz fight as a Conor McGregor replacement. Kind of a shocker to me personally. But from a strategic standpoint, for Michael Chandler, this would be a brilliant move. I did watch that Dustin Poirier interview yesterday that he did with Ariel Helwani. It posted yesterday, and I did get to see it. And I listened to what Poirier had to say. Me and Poirier think similarly in a lot of different ways. One of them is the fact that Chandler is wasting valuable time waiting on a fight that could possibly never happen. So that being said, Michael Chandler's already wasted over a year waiting for Conor McGregor. We were set for the two to face one another at UFC 303. Unfortunately for Chandler and us, I don't think it's so unfortunate for McGregor. I think it's to McGregor's advantage that this fight did not go through. I've always said it that the Chandler fight is the worst fight McGregor can come back to. I think McGregor realized that, and even on that point, Poirier kind of not hinted, it was plainly spoke about it. He said, it all depends on what kind of injury we're talking about, but a pinky toe injury should not prevent you from participating in a fight, especially if it's a guy like Conor McGregor. Imagine if this was a hungry McGregor. Do you guys think that he would pull out of the fight against Michael Chandler? I think absolutely not. But from a strategic standpoint, this was a brilliant move for Conor. Like I said, everyone talking about him before UFC 303 and the press conferences, the ones that happened and did not happen, and just the media attention altogether kind of helped him to get exactly that attention. McGregor was once again brought to the forefront of the MMA world. Everyone was anticipating Conor McGregor to come out, but simultaneously he was involved in movies, and I believe that it's served as the perfect advertising strategy for Conor McGregor to put himself back in the scene and advertise the movie simultaneously. And in all honesty, if he was to face Chandler the night of UFC 303, it would have been a very difficult night for him. Obviously, he realized that. He bailed out of that fight. Yes, I do want to say he did bail out of that fight because effectively that fight did not happen because Conor McGregor could not participate in it. And obviously, Poirier talked about such thing. He said, I'm not sure, and this is Poirier speaking, what kind of injury Conor's dealing with, but a pinky toe should not hold you back from participating in a fight, which you can make a tremendous amount of money, but it's much more than that. I think it's a very strategic move and really beneficial move for Conor McGregor. He got the free advertisement without having to fight Michael Chandler. I don't think Conor McGregor is short on money. I don't think a payday against Chandler would have made or break Conor McGregor in any sort of a way. It would have just been another nice payday if he was obviously going to win. That's the main point for Conor at this point of his career. I think he's just, he has too many losses, track back 5-6 years, not many wins. It's just the Cowboy Cerrone win, the Eddie Alvarez win, and really that's it. Even the Nate Diaz win, that was a close call. It was not like a clear-cut win. Though the Eddie Alvarez, obviously the Jose Aldo, but you would have to track back nearly 10 years to go back to the Jose Aldo fight. But let's say within the past 5-6 years, effectively Conor's only won let's say 2, maybe 3 fights if you want to throw that Nate Diaz fight in there. I don't think that fight was such a clear-cut win for Conor. Now, Chandler, on the other hand, obviously cannot afford to wait any longer. I hate to see Chandler take another loss, in all honesty. I think it takes nothing away from Chandler. All of his fights are close in the octagon. And there has been speculations of Chandler possibly facing the champion of the division, Islam Makhachev. Many people do disagree with this kind of thing. From the entertainment standpoint, this would be a fantastic matchup. In all honesty, I'm all for it to see Chandler against Islam Makhachev. But a recent article claims that Chandler is interested in that Nate Diaz fight. Now, I had to stop and think about this one. Poirier did explain in his interview yesterday that the UFC is not interested in doing business with Nate Diaz any longer, just because of the inconsistency of the guy. He's definitely a huge draw, but he is fairly inconsistent. And I think that's been evident throughout the years. Him and his brother's fairly inconsistent. Even though I wish Nate the best, but I have doubts about seeing Nate back in the octagon. And I'm not sure how much I want to see a Michael Chandler Nate Diaz. I would be more in favor of Chandler facing the champion of the division, or the loser of the fight between the possible fight, which I'm not even sure if it's official as of now, the Arman Tsarukyan Islam Makhachev fight for that lightweight title. You can face the loser of that fight and perhaps fight for a title next. I don't know, but I think that's probably too long for Chandler to wait. Obviously, Nate Diaz just had a fight. He's going to need at least a couple months to recover. And who knows? Maybe this is a real possibility to see these two face off, one another, perhaps sometime end of the year. And I think there's a bit of strategy for Michael Chandler here. If you guys think about it, I think Conor McGregor wants Chandler to take a different fight, so McGregor gets to fight Nate Diaz. I think McGregor is more interested in Nate Diaz or Tony Ferguson than he'd be interested in Chandler, Justin Gaethje, or even a fourth fight with Dustin Poirier, which, in all honesty, if you think about it, it would kind of make sense because Conor won one, the second fight, Poirier won, and the third fight, Conor broke his leg, so that kind of ended abruptly, and it was not a clear-cut win for Poirier. So I would not be opposed to seeing a fourth fight between the two. I don't know how much that would benefit, Conor. Obviously, all of those guys would be willing to face Conor. It's a no-brainer. But I think Conor's more interested in Nate Diaz or Tony Ferguson. And I think, obviously Chandler is not a person who lacks intellect. I think he sees that move. He realizes that as soon as he take a fight, McGregor's going to come out and decide to fight Nate Diaz. So I think he's keeping Nate busy, or attempting to at least, so that Conor has no choice but to wait around and perhaps fight Chandler eventually after that supposed Nate fight. But I just don't see Conor fighting Michael Chandler, in all honesty, unless Chandler gets some kind of belt, which is a far reach at this point. If you made it this far, appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more.